Today, we are diving deep into one of the world's most profound spiritual texts, the Bhagavad Gita. We are going to unpack its timeless wisdom and see how these ancient ideas can actually help us navigate the chaos of modern life.
But first, you've got to wonder about the setting. The whole thing is a huge paradox, right? This isn't some quiet talk in a peaceful monastery. The Gita is a deep, searching conversation about the meaning of life, and it happens on a battlefield, literally moments before a massive war kicks off. So how on earth does a place of conflict become the stage for such incredible wisdom?
To really get the Gita, you have to start right here, on this epic battlefield called Kurukshetra. This is where we meet the two main figures, and it's where a moment of personal crisis sparks a conversation that has echoed for thousands of years. And this is where it gets so incredibly human. Arjuna, he's a legendary warrior. He's ready to fight. But then he looks out across the field and he doesn't just see some faceless enemy. He sees his family, his cousins, his beloved teachers, his own people. And he just crumbles. He's hit with this wave of grief and doubt, and he starts questioning everything. What's the point of winning a war if it costs you everyone you love?
So in this moment of just total breakdown, Arjuna literally puts down his weapons and turns to the one person he feels he can talk to, his charioteer. But here's the thing. This is no ordinary chariot driver. It's the divine Lord Krishna, who's taken on this humble role to guide his friend. And the conversation they have, well, that is the Bhagavad Gita.
Krishna's first major teaching to Arjuna is all about this concept of Dharma. And this isn't about winning or losing. It's about figuring out your real purpose in life, especially when things get tough.
So what is Dharma? Think of it as your unique purpose, your sacred duty. It's about acting with integrity and living up to your responsibilities. And that applies whether you're a warrior prince back then or, a software developer, a parent, an artist today. It's about doing the right thing just because it's the right thing to do.
And this brings us to a huge lesson. Krishna tells Arjuna, look, focus on your actions, on your dharma, and let go of what happens next. See, when your focus is on acting with integrity, you find a sense of purpose, of peace. But the moment you get obsessed with the outcome, with winning, with getting that promotion, with what other people think, that's when all the greed, the anxiety, and the fear creep in.
This idea of acting with purpose leads us to another key concept, yoga. Now, I know when we hear yoga, our minds usually jump straight to physical poses and stretching. But in the Gita, yoga is so much bigger than that. It's a whole spiritual discipline. It's a way of life designed to unite your mind, your body, and your soul with something greater.
The Gita lays out this journey to what it calls inner freedom through three main paths, and they're all connected. It often starts with karma yoga, which is what we were just talking about, the path of selfless action. When you act without expecting anything in return, that can blossom into bhakti yoga, the path of deep love and devotion. And that connection then opens you up to jnana yoga, the path of wisdom, where you use knowledge to truly understand reality.
And if you follow these paths, they all lead to the philosophical heart of the Gita. This profound idea of self-realization, of discovering who you really are, deep down, beyond all the temporary stuff.
Krishna reveals that our true identity isn't our body, which gets old, or our mind, which is always racing with thoughts. Our true identity is the Atman, the eternal, unchanging soul that exists within all of us. And once you realize that you are this timeless self, well, that's the key to freeing yourself from the fear of death and the pain of loss.
This brings us to detachment. And honestly, this is one of the most powerful and misunderstood ideas in the whole Gita. Detachment does not mean you stop caring or you become some kind of cold, indifferent robot. No way. It's about freedom. It's the freedom from being a slave to your successes and from being totally crushed by your failures. It is the source of a truly unbreakable inner strength.
Krishna puts it so perfectly. Be the same in pleasure and pain, gain and loss. Imagine that. That is the essence of real freedom. Finding that calm center inside you that just can't be shaken, no matter what life throws at you.
Okay, so this is all fascinating, right? Ancient philosophy, deep spiritual truths. But the big question is, why does any of this matter to us today in our super busy, often chaotic world?
Because the Gita's wisdom is like this incredible toolkit for modern life. It teaches us how to act with a real sense of purpose and integrity, how to love deeply without clinging, how to think clearly and cut through all the noise, how to rise above all that fear and anxiety we feel, and maybe most importantly, how to find a calm strength when we're facing challenges. Look, at the end of the day, whether you see this as a spiritual guide or just as a manual for a more balanced life, these ancient principles are absolute transformational. They offer a way to navigate our world not with fear, but with clarity, with courage, and with a profound sense of inner peace.
The Gita reminds us that the greatest battlefield we will ever face isn't somewhere out there, it's inside our own minds. The struggles Arjuna had with doubt, fear, and finding his purpose, they are the same struggles we all have. So the final question the Gita leaves us with isn't really for Arjuna, it's for you. The battlefield is within you. How will you find your peace?